Chapter 12. Celebrations. 2 nights later, Vula was in bed, trying to sleep, when she heard her mum's footsteps as she entered her bedroom. "Are you asleep?" Vula heard her mother ask. Vula felt her bed move when her mum sat on the bed. She knew her mother had just returned from the hospital. "Will Jimmy be all right?" she asked, but she was afraid of her mum's answer. Her mother spoke with sadness. "Jimmy has lost a lot of blood. Also, he needs to have some skin taken from his thigh and put onto his chest. His left leg is broken, and some ribs too. Please pray for him, Vula, because God loves children. Maybe God will hear your prayers and help Jimmy to get better." Argiro and Vula cried together, and Vula could not get rid of the lump in her throat. She felt better that her mother didn't blame her or Peter for Jimmy's accident. Her mum was not angry, but she looked sad and very tired. Argiro could not sleep well. Vula thought, "No one can help Jimmy, only God. He's fighting for his life." That was the first time Vula really prayed to God. It was personal. She cried as she prayed, and her tears felt hot as they ran down her cheeks. She felt like her world had broken and that life could never be the same again. Would God really save Jimmy? Vula prayed again, and as often as she remembered. She made a deal with God that if God saved Jimmy, then she would believe he was real. Luckily, time often heals, and happily Jimmy slowly got better and was sent home with plaster on his leg. Theo carried Jimmy into the house, and Vula knew God had given her little brother another chance at life. So she remembered to thank him. Her heart offered a song of joy as she realized that God was good and real and had answered her prayers. The family was overjoyed to have Jimmy back again, and Argiro tended to his every little want. He was her special child because she had nearly lost him. Nothing was too much for Jimmy. Unbelievably soon, life became normal again, except that Jimmy couldn't move very fast or very far for a few more months. When Jimmy's 4th birthday in October got close, Theo rang the hospital newspaper, The Spectator. He asked if they would like to come to his house to take a photo of Jimmy on his birthday. They agreed to send a reporter to write a story about the little boy who was getting better after the terrible accident of a few weeks ago. The newspaper would also send a photographer to take a picture for the newspaper. Counting down the days until the birthday, the family became very excited. On the day of the party, some of the neighbourhood kids and friends were invited. They all wore party hats, blew up balloons, ate lots of food, and had too many lollies. Since Vula's birthday was only 9 days after Jimmy's, the party was for both Vula and Jimmy together. Vula wore a hat with stars on it for the newspaper photo, which was put on the front page. It shows Jimmy wearing a bow tie and no plaster on his leg. But the best things about the photo are the smiles on Theo's and Argiro's faces. Their son was alive and well. Their hearts were very happy and they felt on top of the world. School continued. Vula and her classmates in grade 2 played games together like Heidi, Kick the Tin, Skippy, Elastic, and Hopscotch. The boys played football and cricket or fighting games. The children were separated because the boys played on the oval and the girls played their games on the tarred area. When it rained, everyone ran into the shelter sheds to wait for the bell to ring, to go back into their classrooms. In the sheds, they could use the seats along the walls to play the game of cat and mouse. The cat stood in the middle of the shed and tried to catch the mice as they ran along the seats from their safe corner to another corner. When a mouse was caught as it tried to run to a corner, it became the cat. Every year, Grey Street Primary School, Hamilton 295, had a tradition. At the end of the year, on the last day, the whole school walked in their grades to the Prince Regent Cinema 2 blocks away. The children walked in pairs, holding hands and chatting as they went down Grey Street. They walked past Lucas Cafe and turned right at the end of the block. When all the school was seated in the cinema, Mr. Harris, the headmaster, welcomed them and wished everyone a happy holiday over Christmas. Then everyone stood up to sing the national anthem, God Save the Queen. After that, the lights went off and the movie began. It was a lot of fun and very exciting. Usually it was a comedy. At half-time, after the first movie, the teachers gave each pupil an ice cream to enjoy. Then the second movie would begin. Of course, in those days, there was no sex or violence in movies. The worst thing you could see was cowboys shooting Indians or cowboys having a fight. There was never any blood. Disneyland movies were very popular, and the school saw many Disney films over the years. 2 of them were Bambi and Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. After that, the children were pleasantly tired and ready to go back to school for their class clean-ups and goodbyes. Often, the kids were sent to visit their new teacher and to sit in the classroom they would go into the next year. The change was as good as a holiday and was all part of the thrill of the last day of school before it was time for home and the summer holidays. Another thing the school did every year was to have a fancy dress parade. The children got dressed up as special characters and met outside the town's library. There, the teachers tried to arrange everyone in some order for walking in the parade. Many people, mainly parents, waited along Grey Street to clap as the parade passed them. When the time came, a musical band started playing and led the parade as it walked down the street. The children came behind the band, and the parents, cheering and clapping, joined in and followed the children until everyone walked through the main gate into the school ground. Then began the yearly school fete. The headmaster thanked everyone and announced the winner of the dress parade. It was a bit of an honour to win, so Vula felt lucky to win it the first year she wore her Greek national costume when she was in grade 4. Her mother had spent long hours making it. The jacket was of deep red velvet, and the skirt was of green silk. After that, she wore the same costume again and again, even when it became too small for her in grade 6. Vula had asked her mum to make something else for her, but Argirot told Vula to wear her national costume. "It's important, Vula, to show people we are proud of our country." That's probably why both Jimmy and Peter also wore their homemade Greek national costumes in the school parade year after year too. However, Vula never won a prize for her costume again because everyone got used to seeing it every year. At the school fete, pony rides were also popular. Also, there were mothers selling homemade cakes, biscuits, and jams. There was a merry-go-round and fairy floss. Also, there were competitions to guess how many buttons or beans were in glass bottles, or to see who could throw a tennis ball the furthest. A popular event was the sand saucer floral competition. The winners were decided by the Mothers' Club. Children were invited to bring along a saucer of wet soil or sand and some flowers. The teachers gave them some time during school to put the flowers on the saucers. The many beautiful saucers of flowers were put in the school library. The best ones had ribbons on them for first, second, and third prizes. Don't ask me how they were judged, because they were all beautiful. All the classrooms were open, so parents could walk in and see their children's classwork on the walls and look into their kids' desks. It was a good family time and a time for the school to make some money, to buy things that the school needed.